My guest tonight is the worldwide known, you don't believe it, the worldwide known stage and film director. She's also an author and also the legendary acting teacher and co-founder of the Edgemar Center of the Arts and the Los Angeles Conservatory. Michelle Danner is in the house, and we're going to talk about acting, teaching, and also directing. Just stay tuned.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yeah, hello everybody. Welcome to our mini spotlight today with my beautiful guest, Michelle Danner in the house.
Thank you.
Hello, how are you doing?
Very well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I know I think you're very busy right now, right? We talked about that.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. We talked already about it. You're working on the pre-production of a thriller right now?
Yes, I'm actually finishing one movie
Right.
that I did called Bad Impulse and starting another movie
Right.
called The Runner.
The Runner, nice. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, also about Bad Impulse, because we have some information that I wanted to talk to you about.
Okay.
But first of all, I think a lot of people know you already, but if you don't mind, just tell a bit about yourself, where you're coming from, and what brought you to Los Angeles and doing what you do today.
Well, I think what brought me to Los Angeles is what brought many artists such as you as well to
Right.
LA,
Right.
which is a desire to be creative,
That's right.
and this is where everybody here, you'll walk anywhere in this town,
Right.
whether you're in the sauna at the gym or you're at the coffee shop, people are talking about collaborating on something creative.
Right.
So this is the town from anywhere in the world that you can pick. This is the town
Right.
to do that in. I came here because I was screen testing for a show a million years ago, and told my family that living in New York was more heavy lifting than living in
Right.
LA. It was easier and more fun to live here, and you get more things done.
Right.
And that's what brought me here, and I ended up staying, but I go back to New York all the time.
That's so interesting. I mean, I'm originally from Europe, right? I mean, I know people from the East Coast and also from the West Coast, and I hear it every time, and people always feel differently to me when I meet people from New York. They're always a little more straight to the point, I feel, right? Would you agree? You guys from the East Coast are more like, hey, I say you exactly how it is. Maybe it's not the best thing to hear, but we're going to find a solution for it.
Maybe that's what they've always said. They've always
Right.
also always said that in LA people are more laid back. I don't think so.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, I don't think
Oh.
so. I think people work really hard on this coast. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I can tell people work very hard, but then at the same time, they're also trying to calm down and relax a little bit at some point, having the beach right in front and stuff like
That's
that.
a good thing. Yes, well, I work right in front of the beach, like a block from the beach.
Right. Talking about that, I just wanted to ask you, because you do a lot of directing recently, but you're also like an acting teacher for so many years already.
Yes.
So what got you into acting teaching? Did you
many
start as an
years, oh my
actress?
God.
No, I mean, not like, I'm not talking about decades, I'm talking about 5 years
no,
or so.
actually, decades. You're right. But what was the question?
No, no worries. I just wanted to ask you, so what brought you into teaching at the end? Did you start out as an actress yourself and then realize, hey, I like teaching as well?
I did. I moved to LA. I started going on auditions, but then
Right.
all these actors were asking me to help them. And so I was faced, there was one pivotal day that I remember. I was just faced with all these actors calling me, like 10 actors.
Right.
I used to do like 10 coachings back to back. And then I had 2 auditions, one in Pasadena and the other one in Hollywood.
Right.
And I thought to myself, 2 auditions or helping 10 actors, which one? And I went, no, I'm just going to work with the actors. So I told my agent, who got upset with me, I'm not going to go. And I stayed home and
Right.
I worked with the actors. And from that on, I just kept,
That's amazing.
loving to pass down the information that I have.
Right. I mean, we don't have a lot of time today, but in general, I definitely wanted to ask you that question also for the audience at home, because a lot of people, as you say, have the desire to probably become an actor or actress. So what would you say is the key factor, the key thing that you have to have as an actor to hopefully become who you want to be?
Well, I mean, it's such a fun profession.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, the reason why a lot of people want to be actors is because there's so many people that are creative.
Right.
People have so much creativity in them and they want to find ways to express it.
That's right.
And to express it through acting looks like it could be fun, like a lot of fun. And in fact, it is.
Right.
So, you have to, the most important thing, I think, is to have an incredible passion for it
Right.
and be willing to do what it takes
Right.
to make that dream happen.
Right.
And sometimes it's not going to be easy.
I know.
Sometimes you do it when you, especially when you don't feel like doing it, and it's hard, and you've got to run the track, and you've got to sob at the same time, and you
Right.
just have to push yourself.
It is. I mean, I can also talk from my own experience. I mean, acting is like an up and down, as we all know, right? So
Right.
you have some good weeks, and sometimes you just ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why is it not working how I want it to work?
That's right.
But I feel like that's the key thing as well. You have to be mentally strong enough to understand and to overcome these situations as well, right? To stay positive in a way.
I love what you're saying. I think that, the journey is to find emotional health. If you can stay in this business
Right.
with all the turmoil and the people that say no to you,
Yeah.
and you can stay emotionally healthy
Right.
and go from one project to the next
Right.
and create a great life for yourself. So then when they say, cut, or it's a wrap, or
Right.
go home, you get something fun to go to. You have a life. You have a great life.
Oh my God, thank you so much for saying that. And honestly, I also realized that myself when I moved to Los Angeles. I mean, I was so focused. I'm still focused on that career in a way, but I also realized if you don't work on your private life as well, you can get a little frustrated at some point because there's nothing where you can go back to, as you just said.
Well, I think it's really important. I remember I had a shrink in New York that said to me,
Right.
you may go to LA, you may be very successful, but you have to really watch for the slice of Swiss cheese inside of you. He said, all the holes inside
I
of
know.
you, and no amount of fame
Right.
will fill those holes. And at the time, I was like, can I curse now? What are you talking about? I was
can,
like,
though.
he actually, maybe like, but he was right. I
Right.
think that, it's not, you have to pursue it because there's nothing else, frankly, that you can do. You have to act. You just have to do it. You have to be creative.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mention all the things that I'm thinking about very often because I always ask myself, what would happen if you go back to where I'm from, to Germany, for example? How would I feel then? Even if I'm not having a good day right now, how would I feel stopping now and going back to my home country? And the answer is always like, I would feel even worse than right now. And that
Because
always
you don't
gets
want
me.
to quit. That's
Yeah,
why.
I'm not a quitter. I don't like that. And I think that's also the message to people out there. You have times where you have maybe kind of a down period, but you have to overcome and just think about the bigger goal, the bigger thing that you want to have,
That's
the bigger
right.
vision, right?
You have to
So-
have that big picture.
Yeah, for sure.
That vision board that
Yeah.
plays inside of you, in front of you.
Right.
And, when the going gets tough,
Yeah.
you have to suck it up and stay in the game.
Totally. No, thank you so much for mentioning that because I think not everyone is always talking about it, but I think it's very important to always talk about that beside the acting techniques and everything about acting.
Right.
But I also wanted to ask you your personal experience. So one of your idols. So why did you start acting in the first place? Was there anyone?
I always tell my students we all have the same list of 10 extraordinary actors. And,
Right.
and people say Meryl Streep. And I say,
I had
"Well,
a
no,
feeling you say that.
she's not on the list.
Oh, she's not on the list?
She's above the list.
Oh.
She defines the list.
Oh, I see.
Or someone like Daniel Day-Lewis.
I love this guy.
The truth is that there's so many, especially with all the shows that we get to watch right
Yeah.
now and all the platforms.
That's right.
There's so many extraordinary actors and
Right.
performances that we can get inspired by.
Right.
And, I think we should just watch as much as we can. And it's hard because there's so much.
I know. I mean, that's for me personally, it's kind of overwhelming. Even if I go on Netflix today, I don't even know where to start. I don't really, there's so much good content out there right now because it's
is.
so easy to access. But everyone also has the opportunity to just do what they want to do their own web series or whatever.
Well,
which-
that's one of the keys, in
sure.
terms of being an up-and-coming actor or an established actor in
Yeah.
Los Angeles, is this idea of thinking proactively.
Yeah.
And think about, what are the characters that I'm longing to play? And
Yeah.
to say yes to yourself
Yeah.
before somebody else says yes to you.
Right.
And so maybe you're not the person that can carry all the hats because that's demanding and it's a lot. And sometimes
Right.
it really gets in the way of your acting.
Right.
But maybe you find a way to bring together a group. You collaborate. You
Right.
bring a writer, you bring a director.
Right.
And you get a chance to make projects that you feel passionate about,
Right.
which are called, passion. I don't like that word so much, passion projects, but they're passion projects.
For sure.
Making them come to life.
Exactly. I think that's one of the greatest feelings ever. If you think about it, writing a story yourself, probably even, and then just shooting it and just doing it.
So many actors can write and they don't even know that they can
I know.
unless they don't try.
I know. Oh my God, I feel like you're in my mind or something, like seriously. But I also want to talk a little bit about directing and also about the movie that you just did, right? Bad Impulse. And I just read the synopsis. In the aftermath of a traumatic event, a suburban husband and father buys a cutting-edge home security system only to find that it slowly destroys that which he most wants to
Yes.
support or to protect.
That's right.
Wow.
It really tackles
Who
all
came
the
up?
evils of technology.
Did you write that yourself? Or?
I did not. This was a screenplay written by a wonderful writer,
Okay.
Jason Chase Terrell, and he entrusted me with his baby.
Right.
And I hope that I did good. But the one thing that I do know that I did good,
Right.
is we're doing the festival circuit, and we've actually won some awards as best feature. And we're going to be December 7th. We're
Right.
going to be at the Culver City Film Festival.
Nice.
At 7 p.m. in Culver City.
Guys, check it out for sure. Oh yeah, tickets still available,
Yes,
right? Please.
that's right. And
Awesome.
we're going to be at the Williamsburg Film Festival in New York.
Right.
On Saturday, November, I think, 30th. But in any event, people are scared. It's a scary ride.
Right.
And so I did my job. I feel that if I was able to bring people on a roller coaster,
Right.
then
So you directed the movie.
I directed it, yes.
So what is your experience coming from an acting teaching perspective, let's say, now also directing movies? How do you feel like the connections, but how do you also feel like, okay, that's completely different than what I did before?
Well, I never take it for granted that
Right.
I would know how to bring out
Right.
excellent acting moments.
Yeah.
And and an excellent performance from an actor.
Right.
However, it is something that comes easily to me.
Right.
Right now, what I'm challenging myself with this next movie is more of storyboard,
Right.
and more of how to tell the story visually with the camera. And of course, I have a fantastic DP, and I had a fantastic DP in Bad Impulse, Sandra Valde Henson, who's great.
Shout out to her. Hello.
Yeah, of course. And so I'm interested in always challenging myself from project to project.
Yeah.
And tackling the things that I understand less.
Right.
And understanding, what would make to tell the story in a more compelling way, in a more,
For sure.
emotional, powerful way.
That's amazing. So that means you would say you are also a person who is trying to take herself out of her own comfort zone on purpose.
Always.
To challenge
And
yourself
I
to
can tell
grow
you-
from that.
Absolutely. I can tell you right this minute
Right.
in my life with what's going on that I'm
Please tell me.
highly uncomfortable. No, I mean, I'm very uncomfortable because I'm very challenged right now. But that's what I always tell people. I think you have to push yourself and be uncomfortable.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Thank you so much for saying. I think that's also one of the key messages. Also in acting in general, whatever you do in life, challenge yourself. Otherwise, you're not going to grow. That's the
There's
bottom
no
line to
question
me.
about it. It's
Right.
about doing the things that scare you the most.
Right.
It's asking yourself every single day, what can I do to raise the bar for myself?
Totally. Thank you so much for saying that. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about the new movie that you're working on right now, The Runner. You said that already. Can you just describe a little bit about?
Really excited.
Right.
It's something that actually came out of me. I watched the news report.
Okay.
And I started to literally sob. And I wrote a 3-page treatment
Okay.
about how, law enforcement forces high schoolers to wear wires for a greater good, yes.
Right.
To bring down whoever the drug kingpin is of the town.
Yeah.
But in the process, endanger the lives of these kids that become sacrificial lambs.
Right.
All this is told through an action thriller story, very suspensefully.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it's about something I think that's really important in terms of what's going on right now.
That's amazing. See, I think that's what people connect to at the end of the day. These real life stories. in a
I
way,
love things
right?
that are timely, that we're talking about.
Right.
I'm very political. I think actors, artists need to be political.
Totally agree.
Especially with what's going on in the world
For
today.
sure.
And I'm really excited about this. So I asked the same writer that wrote Bad Impulse, that was his baby, but this is also his baby because I asked him to
Oh.
write the screenplay. So he wrote the screenplay of it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I love to collaborate with the same people. As a matter of fact, a lot of the people that are coming back on set
Yeah.
are actors and crew that I used in my last movie.
I think that's what a lot of people do. Even myself, I can tell working with the same people over and over again. You also become kind of a family in a way,
Yes,
right?
you find your community.
Yeah.
And when you are doing several projects with the same people,
Right.
it feels very tight. It feels connected, and
Yeah.
especially when it's so easy in this town to drive around and be disconnected. People, are really looking for that connection.
That's what I felt too when I came to this town. I felt like, wow, you definitely need your time also to find your core people that you
Yes.
trust. I feel like
That's right.
trust is a big thing too, right? Who do you really trust? And this is something that you have to find yourself. And it's kind of an over time thing, I feel, But thank you so much for mentioning that. I really appreciate that. But also coming to an end almost, I just wanted to ask you, where can people find you, especially when it comes to acting classes? Maybe if they're interested in one of your movies, want to be part of it even, how can they do that?
Well, you can just look at michelledanner.com. The name of my production company is All in Films.
Okay.
We also do a film festival, Cinema at the Edgemore Center for the Arts. People are submitting narratives and shorts and documentaries.
Nice.
It's a great grassroots boutique film festival where people really get to show their work and talk about it.
Right.
And that's happening at the end of February.
Nice.
So, and also I'm going to do a play with Ann Archer, the wonderful actress Ann Archer.
Of course.
Called A Ticket to the Circus, about the wife of Norman Mailer. So that's going to be a really interesting show. So you can go
Amazing.
on the Edgemore Center for the Arts
Right.
website,
Right.
Michelle Danner, All in Films.
And are you also like on Facebook or Instagram, anything
Yes,
where people can
everywhere.
follow you?
I definitely have.
She's everywhere. Of course.
Well, I don't personally do it, but
No, I get it though. It's like social media is part of our lives, So, but thank you so much,
Thank
Michelle, for
you.
coming in.
Thanks
I really
so much for
appreciate it.
having me.
Oh my
Thank
God,
you.
my pleasure. And yeah, you can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. It's at Benjamin Schnau, SCHNOU. Like the dog Schnauzer, you know what I'm talking about. Thank you so much for joining in our mini spotlight today with Michelle Danner. Check it out. Check out her new movie. Tickets are still available, and see you next time.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.